We're here to talk about the hidden barriers that just simply stop your growth as a human being. And the truth is they're hidden. You wouldn't know it if they were there. It's right in front of your face. But the thing is, let's talk about this hidden barrier because, ultimately, when you see yourself involved in patterns, you start saying, something, I've seen this before. This is like the great Yogi Berra saying, it's deja vu all over again. What you discover really quickly is that there are patterns that seem to activate at particular times. Now, the ones we're interested in looking at are the ones that happen in critical moments, really challenging moments, and what mind shows up to engage that moment. It's important to have a crystal clear, calm, focused, disciplined mind approaching that moment. And additionally, courageous. But what happens, what you'll see, is that as you approach moments like that, before you know it, something happens and you're no longer the prepared mind that you thought. It happened to me when I was playing baseball as a kid, is I could really pound a baseball, knock it a country mile. But then I got in the batter's box under competition, under challenging moments, and I got into a conversation in my head that I wasn't even aware of. And it was really about, oh my God, what he's going to throw. Is he going to throw me a curveball? And before you know it, I had jinxed myself. I had sabotaged the mind that I brought into that moment. And I was not nearly as good under competition as I was at practice. Now, over the years, I've figured out how to deal with that. But all of us have these particular patterns, okay, that present themselves as hidden barriers. You hit up against them and you're going, what is happening here? I don't even see it. Why does this keep happening to me? What happened? Whether or not it's a presentation, whether or not it's an athletic event, whatever. But crunch time and the mind that comes in there, what you're going to discover is these patterns. Now, what those patterns are, they're limbic memory. The deal that you need to understand about emotional patterns is that your brain is constantly organizing you, adapting you to the circumstances of your life. And that formative period, particularly the imprinting period in childhood, but that's the formation of the way you react to the world. And often what you learn there, okay, is that you learn that maybe you're not up to it. Maybe you're not this, or maybe you're not that. And that all of a sudden you also then begin to believe that the way you perform produces your mattering as a human being. You start seeing these connections and they lock in as implicit beliefs. That's a limbic belief, a limbic learning. It's not cognitive. You wouldn't be able to see it. It's beneath the threshold of awareness of the thinking brain. It's your emotional brain. And all it's doing is wanting to figure out a way for you to be able to survive this moment. And to it, is avoiding something and not risking is actually a victory. You have a relief before you go, oh my God, I missed it again. How did I fall into that trap again? Well, your limbic system, your emotional brain, caveman brain, has set that up, and at one time, it was very useful. You needed it. And the deal is that the emotional brain doesn't know you're out of the caveman era. We have a cognition that goes on that allows us to see Homo sapiens and you as this something that has gone beyond the social mammalian that we are. Remember, your thinking brain, that which makes us so different from the rest of the creatures, grew out of the emotional brain, out of the limbic system. And ultimately what happened is there was all these neural pathways for communication from the old brain, from the mammalian brain, into the neocortex, the thinking brain. And what happens is backwards, though, from the thinking brain back into the primitive brain, just two little 19th century telegraph lines. You see the problem? Okay. That's the design, that's the architecture that our evolutionary psychology made us. That's trait-based, okay? However, we go into learning, but we also learn in our family of origins. We learn in our communities. We learn in our extended families, in our cultures, and circumstance, things that happen to us. And we come to learn on a limbic level, okay, and it's interested in short-term survival. It's not interested, doesn't even conceive of long-term thriving. Okay? So it organizes you for that short-term survival, and then it comes into a challenging moment, and it hits a threshold, and it triggers the pattern, the response to the perceived threat or opportunity, and that's what shows up. Rarely is it a disciplined, courageous, self-soothing, and clear-thinking state of mind. Biologically, we're pre-positioned to be able to think in terms of fear. We're going to take the negative assessment machine that our brain has evolved from, and we're going to say, okay, I should be anxious or I should be fearful at this moment. What if I don't make it? What if I haven't got the goods? You hear that dialogue going on inside your mind, and it's about winning and losing. And what I want you to do is to really think about winning and losing. The problem in our culture and the world and human beings is that we equate winning with us. You know, all of a sudden our performances, winning, is an indication of who we are as a human being. The truth is, your value as a human being is quite separate from your performances. My choking when I was 12, 13 years old as a baseball player. Okay? However, in that failure, there was a lot to learn. Yet at the same time, that failure, the brain interprets that as a losing. Oh, we don't want to lose. Oh, no. Yet, the brain does not learn from success. So if you're all focused on being successful, being number one and winning, you are actually boxing yourself in from learning to get out of the box that keeps sabotaging you. The brain learns by failure. It does not learn from success. Success actually says, let's lock in this particular pattern so that it fires automatically without the thinking brain even knowing it. And then it hijacks the thinking brain at critical moments. So what you're doing is you're saying, well, what are my beliefs about winning, about losing? The world I live in, working with traders, that's how I became who I am today. Winning is only landing on the right side of probability. It's nothing big and special, okay? No reason to get whooped up, no reason thinking, look at me. Losing is only landing on the wrong side of probability relative to you. It's the same thing in the rest of life too, is that Ray Kroc, the inventor of McDonald's, made a statement. I failed my way to success. This is emotionally intelligent thinking, because what happens is he began to grasp that, I am learning. When I fail, I explore it. And I've got this attitude of a learner, not of, oh my God, I can't show that. I can't let people say I'm a loser. I'll make up something. I'll lie to myself. I'll do. No. You go, let's look at this and find out what it's revealing. What that failure is going to reveal is maybe you need some training and technique, but maybe there is a self-limiting belief that got learned at another time, at another place in your formative period or your imprinting period that is still there and you have learned not to see. Well, the failure is giving you enormous ammunition to see. Okay? So what we're asking you to do is this. We're saying, okay, when I fail, I need to really manage that, calm my emotions down, emotional regulation, mindfulness, and start really looking at it and saying, what do I learn from this? What is revealing itself here? And as that belief that is at the very bottom of the failure, unless it's just coincidence, probability, that happens. A lot of people do really, really well, and then they come into one thing, and man, it's just stacked against them. At that time, you go, my failure had nothing to do with my attitude, had nothing to do with my skill sets. It just bad timing. At the same time, what it can reveal is the self-limiting belief that's buried in the limbic meaning of your being, that you've come to believe, not because it's true, just simply because there is misinformation there, misunderstanding there, and you came to believe that. What we want to do is say, and that failure, it opens up for me to find the belief that's been driving me. And the good news, we as human beings, we can reprogram ourselves. Now, it's organic matter. It's not like you're just going to do your fingers like that and poof, you've changed. But you have to reorganize organic matter, of organic circuitry of a belief, so that that belief is what you begin to see through. You no longer see the way you learned in your family of origin, the way you got shaped by evolutionary psychology, the rules of success of your culture. No, you begin to see differently. You start saying, what is it going to actually produce? Richard Branson, when asked what money was, he said, money's for making things happen. It had nothing to do with him as a human being. It didn't define him. What it did is it was a tool that he used to invent possibilities. That was the way he got things done. So what I want you to do is take a look at this going, well, what are my attitudes about failure? Does it say something to me as a human being, or is it an opportunity for growth? Is winning proving that I'm tough, I'm mean, and I've got it, I'm the alpha? Or does winning simply mean that you landed on the right side of probability, had some skills, and that links in and kind of solidifies the belief system even more, it hot wires it, okay? So it shows up more quickly. Now, losing, that's the failure. Is it about you? No. My own view is I'm conscious creation. Now, I take that conscious creation out of the Big Bang, and this evolution has produced life and has produced us as animals that, what would we got? I consider this to be the most fortunate, the most blessing that you could possibly imagine. So I'm going to take advantage of failure to be able to grow even more, to find out what I could be. But it takes an attitude, a belief about failure as that's how you grow. Okay? It's how you get down in the gooey stuff that's basically producing the predestination of your life and changing it to produce a very different life path. Friends, if you want to know more, and I hope you do, go to the website, get my book, start really looking and saying, you know something, this guy makes sense. Let me explore more and see how I can get down into the very beliefs that are creating my perception of the world and the assumptions that were there, and I didn't even know they were there. I just saw through them, just like I'm seeing through air, and I'm not seeing air, I'm seeing the void. And being able to say, that's the thing, and the biases, what I need to do is I need to examine them and to see if they serve my long-term best interests. Friends, that's what we teach. We teach a process that allows you to really begin to harness emotion and to be able to build anew a mind that engages the world from a disciplined, from a courageous, from a self-soothing, calming, and very clear thinking position, state of mind. That's the mind that we want to engage the challenges of living. Come and learn, friends. Come and learn.